Hi everyone, Helen here from Helen Kirkham Crafts. And today I took on a challenge from Stix to Anything. They sent me a parcel full of lots of fabulous goodies and then sent me a list of some of those products to create a project with. So what I've done is I've taken all these different items and I've created a bag. So first of all, I'm using the messy mat that came in the bundle. And I've got the micro dot sheets, and I'm just cutting these down to a 1/4 inch in length, just several of those to be able to pop those on the bag. I'm just using a guillotine here, which has the measurements on the board, which makes it a little easier to cut them. Now, the little craft bag is made from recycled materials, and I've got a little plastic pot here, just my spritz pot, that I'm going to use some of the gorgeous fabric paint that came in my mystery bundle. I give it a bit of a shake and then I can start spritzing it. Now, obviously, you've got the messy mat underneath, which is going to protect my table, but also having that sort of box makes it a little easier so you don't get the fabric spritz everywhere. I'm just adding a little bit of a spritz to that, but it's a bit wet, so I'm taking my heat gun just to dry that off. Not getting too close to the bag. I don't want to burn the bag or anything, but just drying some of that paint off. And then what I'm going to do is just take the cover off of the micro dots and lay those down onto the bag. Just burnish it down so it sticks. That's kind of why I wanted the paint to be as dry as possible, because obviously if it was too wet, they probably wouldn't stick down. And then I'm just slightly making each one shorter than the last, just to have a kind of cool little look once we peel these off. They're easy to get the backing off. I found it better if I pulled the sort of covering of the micro dots from the side rather than the top. And then I'm just snipping away some of the waste. Whenever you snip anything, I always find it best to do it from the back. It just makes it a little bit easier. These are some Tonic scissors. Obviously, these weren't in my bundle, but I've added a couple of little extra things to the challenge, like dies, some stamps, some extra glue and scissors, and obviously the trimmer. And then what I'm using here is the waste that I've cut off on the other pieces of the micro strips, so that they're going to be exactly the same length as the ones on the bottom for when I stick them on the top of the bag. So I'm just lining these up and snipping away the waste, so I know that the measurements are identical, which is a really simple and easy way to do it if you're not into doing measurements and things like that. So there we have our little strips of micro dots in the right length, and I'm going to pop these on the top side of the craft bag. Again, just peeling away the backing and sticking those on with a sort of equal distance from each strip. Then what I'm doing is I've got the Carnival foils here. These are cold foils, so they work by using glue, or in this case, the micro dots. And what I love about this is you get the cute little dots. That's actually what's left. It's not one solid strip. You are going to get the foil in little dots, which I think looks really cool. And it's a fun way of using foils in your project, and a very simple and easy way to do it. And it works really lovely. And I think the end result is really pretty. So as I said, this is the Carnival sheets, where you've got some purples, some pinks, and some pattern foil within that bundle. There's 12 sheets in the Carnival pack. So there we have the foil with using those micro dots. Obviously, this is used some, but absolutely the waste is reusable. You know, there's a lot more foil on there if I want to. And as I said to you, I did make the paint dry off, but it wasn't completely dry. So I took the foil, and actually to the little bits of dots of paint that hadn't dried, I've gone over with some of the foil, and it gives the little paint splots. I've got extra foil on them as well, which is a fun little added bonus from not allowing that paint to dry completely before I carried on. I am one of those people. I want to get crafting as soon as I do it. So I, didn't wait long enough for it to be completely dry, and actually in the end, that was quite good because I got to stick the foil onto the not so complete paint dry. Now what I'm using is the Cork Sheets. So these are 2 in each pack, A4 in size. You can cut these obviously, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to die cut them just with some basic heart dies that I've got in my stash. The cork is quite thick, so you might want to check the right sandwich for your particular die cutting machine, but mine was perfect with all the plates. but just double check that before you cut them because it's quite a thick cork. It still cuts beautifully though, as you can see here with those hearts. It die cuts gorgeously. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in another part of the project, which was the glitter. So on the list of products was pink glitter. So I'm going to actually put those on the cork. So I'm just using some Stix 2 PVA glue on top of the cork, and that's where we're going to stick the glitter. Also, you can see here that I've got the tray. That's sort of the clean and tidy tray from Stix 2. And I'm going to use that so that I don't waste any of my glitter or get the glitter everywhere, because I'm going to pour it into the tray onto the cork heart. And then after I've done that, I can just pour it back into the pot. So you can see here with the glitter, this is biodegradable glitter, which is fabulous, non-plastic as well, which is really great. And I'm just pouring it over the glue. It sticks to it quite quickly, and then what I would do once you've done that is just allow that glue to completely dry. Otherwise, if you keep touching it, you may end up squishing or moving the glitter. And then I just use the little sort of nozzle on the end of the clean and tidy to get that glitter out, and pop the lid back on. And then what I'm going to do once my hearts or the glitter on the hearts has dried, I'm sticking it to the Kraft bag, again using that glue. So from the list, you can see all the wonderful things. The only things I added for the challenge were some glue, the trimmer, a pair of scissors, some stamps, and the dies that I've used to cut these hearts. I think it was a really fun idea doing a challenge with Stix 2. It was a really fun idea, and it made me try something different. I think that when you are only using certain products, it makes you craft slightly differently. I had to kind of look at them, and think, oh, what could I do with each of these elements? And it was a really fun challenge, and I really enjoyed doing it. And the products are so great and really easy to use. Here I've got some Stamps by Me stamps, just a couple of little sentiments using some brown ink here. Very simply and easily, and I'm going to add a fun little sentiment to my gift bag. I really love probably if I was doing something myself, I wouldn't even think about doing this on a gift bag, but because it was part of the challenge list, I kind of stuck to that and did it on a craft bag. But everything I'm doing here could be easily sort of changed and become the front of a card if you wanted to, or in a box frame, maybe with a photo. So nothing I'm doing is specific to putting on a craft bag. It's just, the way it's gone, but everything I'm doing, you could absolutely do in other elements as well. And then I'm just using those Daubers to just put a little bit of ink, kind of make it a little bit more rustic, the white, because it's quite a bright white card I'm using. So by just using that brown ink, it kind of dulls it down a little bit, and it then fits better in with the Kraft coloured bag and the cork, brown cork as well. And then I'm just using some of these strips of foam tape here just to pop this onto the cork. Again, I love the fact that the cork is quite versatile. What you'll see in a second is I'm going to cut it with my scissors to use as a sort of matten layer. I've used it obviously as the die cutting, but I kind of find it a nice added element into crafting. So maybe you could think about using it in other projects, and it sort of makes your project more mixed media, and it cuts really beautifully and really simply. And I think it just adds a little bit of a different note to a matten layer. Instead of necessarily using a piece of card to matten layer, I'm using the cork. Originally, I was going to pop these on the hearts, but because I had that gap at the top, I thought, no, let's stick the sentiments in there and don't mess with the hearts. So you can see here the products that I was using are the fabric spray, the foil, the micro dots, the cork sheet, the pink glitter, the white fabric spray, the strips of foam, the craft bag, and the messy mat as well. So these are all elements that were part of the craft sort of challenge list from Stix 2 Anything. And I just think it's come together really well. I love the matching of the colours. I think it's quite unique with the strips of foil. The only thing I didn't use actually that was on the list was this fabric spray paint. It was the blue, and I couldn't find a way of fitting it in. But everything else that was on the list I used to create this really cool bag. If you're interested in any of these products, they're all available on the website on stix2.co.uk. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed this challenge, and I really appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.